Hey everybody, welcome back to the OK Modeler channel. My name is Gary and this is episode 12 of the USS New Jersey build. In this episode, I'm going to be working on preparing the bow and the stern deck for the photo etch parts, as well as the wood decking and some new pieces that will go over here. First things first, we're going to have to do is remove these molded details right here, the chains, this portion here, as well as these, I forgot what these are called again. You got to take those out as well. On the stern section, or aft, this has got to go, as well as these. I guess I started taking those off already, as well as these two over here. Now keep in mind, anytime you remove plastic like this, you want to make sure you wear safety glasses. You know, your eyes are important, so you want to protect those. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this. All right, so on the bow, let's go ahead and start with some of the easy portions here first, like this. So now we're going to go ahead and remove this breaker here. All right, one way that I learned to remove some of the remnants of something you just cut off is I use a number 10 blade right here. I learned this from the Midwest Modeler shop, so kudos to Ben over there. Never really talked to him before, but he gave me a good idea and it worked out pretty well. So basically, you want to get a sharp number 10 blade and just kind of work it a little bit here. Closest to the molded chain, you can do that. See, just like butter, as long as you have a sharp blade. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start removing everything out of here, and I'll be right back. All right, here's what I got so far. Nothing's been glued, but all the molded details have been removed. I just used the sprue cutters to cut what I can, like I showed before, and then I just sanded it all down, chiseled it all out as well. So everything's nice and smooth, so when the decking goes on here, there will be no issues. And the same thing up here, where the forecastle will be a more detailed piece right here. Now, as I was doing all this, I decided that I'm probably going to have to split this episode into two parts here. One for the bow and one for the stern. And I decided that I'm probably going to do the stern first as the part one, and then this one will be part two. Reason being is there's a lot of work on both of these to do. There's a lot of tiny pieces that go here, not just the decking. But I think it'll help split the episode down to part one and part two. So that's the decision I'm going to do here. So let's get working on that stern section here. All right, so the first step I'm going to do on the aft of this New Jersey build here is I'm going to go ahead and use the Modern Haze Gray and paint the turret 3 here, as well as all the doors and the antenna section here, as well as the tub. But before that, I will put the doors, the PE doors, on here. And then after I get everything painted, I will add the wood decking on here. Hopefully, by adding the photo etch, it doesn't interfere with the installment of the wood decking. So we shall see and find out. All right, folks, I got the decking on here. Took me a couple days. Got these 3 pieces on. Then I forgot I got these 2, so I did that a couple nights ago. And just like how I did the decking on the previous episode, it went on fairly simple. So the next step I'm going to do is I got to put these new flight decks that go on the ship itself here. So there's several pieces actually, I think. Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces that go on the aft portion. And one of the things I noticed here is if you get everything lined up correctly, it's going to be flush. The metal piece and the wood decking will be flush. But earlier it wasn't, because the wood piece at the end right here was a little longer, so it made this deck kind of prop up a little bit. So what you do is just cut a little bit of the wood decking here, and then it's going to go ahead and be flush with the deck. So easy fix right there. So the next step I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and score the back of this, so that way when I put the glue on here, on there, it would adhere better. You just want to make sure that when you're scoring it, that you score the right side, because the last thing you want to do is mess it up, because everyone's going to see this part. All right, here we go. All right, when I'm scoring, I'm going to be using this 400 grit sanding stick. You don't have to use 400, but this is the one I choose to use. So basically you just kind of go in circles, go back and forth. You don't have to be super aggressive. Just think about, like, you know, making little circular motions on here. If you need more practice, you can always do this on your car. There we go. That's not too much. All right, I'll work on the other ones and I'll be right back. So I'm trying to determine which color I want to use for the deck. And I picked 2 colors from the True Color brand. There's the 1044, the Flight Deck Gray, and then there's the 1045 Modern Deck Gray. On the website, it shows that this one's a little darker. The 1045 is a little darker than the Flight Deck Gray here, the 1044. So I tried it on a scrap piece of photo etch here. This is the 1044 and this is the 1045. I can't really tell the difference between the 2 colors, even though the brochure says the 1045 is a little darker. So I'm just going to take a guess and I'm going to use the 1045 Modern Deck Gray. Yeah, I think that will work out. We'll see. Hopefully. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wash my parts here, get this all washed up and get ready for paint. All right, everyone, I'm just about to get ready to go ahead and paint all this. Still kind of flip-flopping between which paint I'm going to use. Now I'm kind of leaning maybe towards the Flight Deck Gray. I don't know, we'll see. These pieces right here, this one and this one, they have 2 colors on here. You're going to have the darker Flight Deck Gray, and then you're going to have the gray that I put on the surface of some of the platforms here. So that's going to go here. I did add the Mr. Metal primer on here. When I did tape this, because there's 2 colors, it did rip the primer thing off, so I'll have to reapply that once I get that tape off, meaning once I paint this section here, I'm gonna have to seal it so that way I can put the tape on there and so it doesn't remove the paint. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. All right, everyone, I got the metal deck pieces all painted here. I ended up using the flight deck gray. It looked pretty good. I ended up, oops, when I spray or airbrushed it on here, it gave a nice shine on there. So I added a flat clear that I used from Tamiya right here, the TS80. And boy, I will tell you what, it went from looking really nice to, ooh, now it seemed like the paint, I don't know, shrunk or something. I don't know if that's possible, but you could see there's a shine right there. And that was covered earlier, and it seems like the paint just kind of shrunk. But I'm just going to leave it as is. I don't want to keep adding layers and layers and layers of paint here. But yeah, I'm probably not going to use this anymore in my future builds. I think I might just go ahead and retire it into the shelf so it'll never be seen again. So I guess on the plus side, if I want to stay positive, it's kind of given that, I don't know, weathered look, this unintentional weather look. So that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and keep moving on here. All right. So the next thing I need to do is get this glue down here, and you don't want to apply too much glue because these holes right here, you're going to see through the other side here. So the last thing you want is to put a lot of glue and then have it all seep up. So what I ended up doing with these two here, these are already glued down. I just ended up putting paint, just like dots of paint, not too much, along the edges and some in the middle as well. And that way the glue just won't ease out everywhere. So that's the next step I'm going to do, and I'll be right back. All right, here we go. All right, good enough. All right, folks, here is my very first dry decal transfer. I've always done the water slide ones, so this is a first for me. From what I've seen on the YouTube videos of the world, basically you just kind of rub the whole thing in there and then it sticks onto the surface. So let's see if this works. Hopefully this works. All right, moment of truth. Once I do a little more rubbing here. Okay, so and all that noise is my wife in the laundry room. Oh, that's not good. Total fail. All right, well, the results did not come to what I was hoping for. That is not good. So now I have to regroup and figure out what I need to do. All right, folks, I got a dry fit going on right here. I think the black looks great, helps tone down that bright wood decking that I have on here. I'm not going to shade it down, so I'm going to leave it as is. It's looking good so far. It's unfortunate that the helicopter pad deck didn't work out, so we're just going to have to circle back to that later. I had to order some different type of paint, lacquer paint. Someone suggested on the Facebook page, the 1/350, 1/400 scale ships, to score the decking, add the metal etch primer, put on a primer, as well as a lacquer paint, so it gives it a little more bite. So hopefully that will work. Luckily, I do have more of these dry decals. My Iowa set and Wisconsin comes with the same one here. So if that doesn't work this next time around, I'll probably end up using the water slide decals that Tamiya has provided. But again, we'll circle back to that later. So on the next episode, I will be working on the bow decking here. A lot of stuff on the forecastle. I painted this deck already. I don't know why. I wanted to get ahead of myself, but I realized I had to paint everything else. But we all make dumb mistakes. I tend to make a lot of them. Anyways, thank you for watching this if you made it this far. If you have any comments, specifically this one, or suggestions on this one, put it down in the comments section. I greatly would appreciate that. Hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. I hit 100 subscribers a couple weeks ago. Thank you all very much for your support on this channel. I didn't think I would hit 100 this quick, but there's more to come, and I hope you guys are enjoying this build and this channel. Until then, I will see you all on the next episode.